Historical dramas often amaze us visually for their success in bringing back to life values of historical periods. Mary Shelley is a reminder that England in the early 19th century remains a rich repository of stories and character, an era that can be made to feel charmingly quaint and bracingly modern on both page and screen. Directed by Saudi Arabian filmmaker Haifa Al-Mansour, Mary Shelley details the author's relationship with the poet Percy Shelley and the events that eventually lead to her writing her seminal novel. Though Mary Shelley is a beautiful film shows exploring a truly fascinating story, it's never really become as moving or as captivating as it should be. It's a shallow look at an incredible life, and it will ultimately leave audiences searching for a more emotional and resonant recounting of the author's story.
Played by a fully engaged, well-ascended Elle Fanning, Mary Godwin first entered the picture as the 16-year-old daughter of William Godwin, living in cramped quarters with her stepsister Claire Clement. Her mother, who died shortly after giving birth to her, was the writer Mary Wollstonecraft. Mary hopes to become a writer as well, but after one too many fight with her disapproving stepmother, she's sent to live in Scotland. She meets Shelley at a party and is immediately taken. Back in London, Shelley appeared again in her presence to Mary's father. They decided to run away together after an encounter with Percy's wife and child, taking Claire with them, creating a public scandal. Despite his aristocratic background, Shelley's financial status is precarious in the extreme. Many soon realize that life with Shelley is not as idyllic as she had perhaps hoped. Despite his romantic word and commitment to her, he believed in a love upon freedom. In other words, polyamory. Poet Lord Byron invited them to Geneva, where he made his infinite rainy night challenge to his guests to each write a ghost story, drawing on her feeling of abandon and general disgust with the man in her life. Mary created Frankenstein monster.
The acting overall is very solid, with the significance of each character portrayed well. Has a partly innocent sincerity in the role of Mary. Shaun Weiss has an air of defiance and impregnable purity, delicate prettiness, and granite integrity. Someone untouched by any of the physical or moral squalor in which she happens to find herself. Douglas Booth plays her lover and late husband, Percy Bysshe Shelley. Tom Sturridge is outrageously over the top as Lord Byron. Certainly seems to be mad, bad, dangerous to know, and also a great use of Coil and Eleanor for the gothic effect. Belle Powley refused to be upstaged in the thankless role of Mary's sister and Byron's lover, Claire Clement. Stephen Dillon brings something gloomy, thoughtful, and stationary to the role of scholar and bookseller William Godwin, Mary's father, and the widowed husband of famous campaigner Mary Wollstonecraft.
To get a better overview of the film, we'll delve into its smaller aspects. Mary Shelley is certainly lovely to look at, with Al-Mansour's camera taking unusual detours through the candlelit interiors and overcast street scenes, creating a believable setting with strong dialogues and heart-touching poetry.
Wanting for my happily ever after, I lowered my defences, forgetting the first lesson I was taught, that I was brought into this world to be abandoned, that I am irrevocably alone.
As a tale of female empowerment, there's something quite modern about the way it indicts the self-involvement of its male romantics, who talks a good talk about breaking free of its rigid gender conventions right until the moment it ceases to suit their needs. And as the first female film director in Saudi Arabia, Al-Mansour has boldly presented the woman's perspective in film, stirring controversy and stimulating social changes to raise the status of women.
However, the film fails to give satisfying storylines. It's quite lengthy with some unnecessary scenes and too many complications throughout the 2 hours, which could possibly be too overwhelming. The fact that it's packed with conflicts after conflicts, none of them tend to stand out as one by one resolve constantly to move on to the next, therefore failed in leading into an actual impactful turning point in the movie. Mary loss and disappointment, all of which come into play when she writes her novel later on, could possibly be portrayed in a better way, emphasizing on her painful journey by clarifying the inner impact.
It's a tumultuous love story that never fraught with the proper passion and an account of artistic awakening that arrived at its subject too late. Toronto Film Review, Andrew Barger. Mary Shelley is a polished costume drama, but one that is less about the person who wrote Frankenstein and a range of her experiences than about the whole patriarchal structure of English society. It's unfortunate that such a fascinating life should be confined to a film of such limited scope. Karen M. Pearson. The movie is still well executed, but at 2 hours, Fanny's persuasive performance failed to elevate it to being more than a moderately romantic historical drama.
Despite the negatives about the movies, Mary Shelley's life is certainly a story with many lessons that people can learn from. Going through a tremendous amount of hardships in her life, not only did she endure the pain but also use it to channel creativity for her own. She channeled her feelings into writing, producing a masterpiece that continued to resonate with many readers today. Therefore, we can all find outlets for our pain, turning negative experiences into something positive and lasting.
I no longer see the world and its works as they before appeared to me. But now misery has come home, and men appear to me as monsters, thirsting for each other's blood. And I, a miserable spectacle of wrecked humanity, pitiable to others and intolerable to myself.
While it feels stretches at 2 hours, it seems movie digression work well as opportunities to apply contemporary feminists to the romantics. Throughout the whole movie, it depicts the ways in which free love in specific and liberations in general can go badly wrong, as shown from the shenanigans that occur on the ensuing scenes after Mary moved out from her parents' house to live with Percy. A bigger question was left for us. Is liberalizations a huge racket empowering a tiny elites at the expense of the masses?
The film had a fair portrayal of Mary's life as a whole. It received a fair set of mixed reviews coming from film critics, with the website critical consensus of Rotten Tomatoes read, Mary Shelley smoothed out its subject fascinating life and failed to communicate the spark of a classic work, undermining fine period detail and a solid Elle Fanning performance. Some historians have also criticized the movie for the questionable portrayal of Shelley's relationship and for its historical accuracy in general, but overall, the film is suited toward more casual demographic that prefer enjoyability over historical accuracy. The MPAA rating would be PG-16. Rating will be 5 out of 10.
To sum up, every movie has both pros and cons. No one can deny the beautiful production and cinematography of Mary Shelley, as it is clearly visually aesthetically pleasing with the excellent costume, setting, deep dialogue, and a persuasive performance of Elle Fanning. Despite that, the minus point on the storyline and the questionable impact of this movie as a whole is reason to give it an average score. Thus, it's totally suitable for a chill, entertaining movie night with a gothic vibe.